Hello, vinyl community. It's your Battle Chef here. This is the 50th Spin Zone video that I'm doing, so I've got a ton of things to show here. It's going to be a chock-full episode, so wow, I can't believe I got 50 views under my belt now. It's pretty amazing, and I've hit 500 subs too, so I'm going to try to get a contest video going here either today or maybe tomorrow. Still struggling with ideas. I have a few, trying not to repeat anyone else's contest or even my own previous ones. So we'll see. First of all, in the time since I've last made one of these, I ended up restarting my subscription to Vinyl Me Please. Now, a couple of years ago, I tried Vinyl Me Please out, and I tried them out for like 3 months, and really only one of the records, which the reason that why I joined up in the first place, it was Big Bill Broonzy plays folk songs. I think that's the name of it. I joined to get that record, and the other two that I got the following 2 months were just just kind of So, by happenstance, on Facebook, my good friend Anthony Ferraro sent me a link to VMP because they had Feed and Fleece as their record of the month for February. And I couldn't resist. So, even though Steve Carlson had sent me a copy, the chance to get a brand new reissue, remastered reissue, was just too great. So I paid it forward and I sent my copy to Beth at B-Side Records. It was a very nice record. It was a decent player. But, like I said, the chance to get a brand new one was just too much. So, and Vinyl Me Please has changed in the couple of years since I last was a member. Apparently now they have 3 different records of the month. One is called the Essential Series, and you can see this is what it says on the resealable outer sleeve that these come in now. There's also a Classic Series, which focuses more on blues, soul, and R&B. And then there's a rap and hip-hop record of the month. So I joined under the Essentials track to get Feed and Fleece, but the Classics record of the month was a Buddy Guy album called I Left My Blues in San Francisco. So that's one that I'm probably going to get too. The other reason why I tried them again is that you can swap records. If you don't want the record of the month, you can swap it with something else. So I don't know what the next record of the month is going to be, but if I don't decide I don't want it, I can always swap out, like, say, the Buddy Guy. That's probably what I end up doing. So, and I looked in their store, you know, which, and they had a couple of other things in there that would be either swappable or just outright buyable. So for now, I did another 3-month trial again, and so far the choices that I've been seeing look better than from a couple years ago. Their library is certainly a lot bigger in the time between then and now. So this is the they still send you a little cocktail recipe with their records, which, you know, it's fine. And they also send a print with the record, which looks nice, I suppose. It's okay. And, of course, the main reason is the album. It's a very thick cardboard sleeve. Feels textured even. Has a nice inner sleeve, but I put it in a disc keeper because it was the inner sleeve was paper. And of course, here is the record itself. A beautiful dark green vinyl. So that was the reason why I I rejoined. This was a tough album to find, and Steve was generous enough to send me one. But like I said, chance to get a new one was just too tempting, so I went for it. So I'll let you know how it goes in the future with Vinyl Me Please, and we'll see. I did make another purchase from their store that also shipped with that record. I bought this album here called Soul Sugar by Jimmy McGriff. I had streamed some of this, and Jimmy McGriff is a jazz organ player, but on this album he seems to be trying to branch out towards more contemporary music, or even like rock, because he covers Ain't It Funky Now by James Brown, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, Sugar Sugar, which didn't sound bad. So, and this was a Vinyl Me Please exclusive pressing. Limited to 1,000 copies, and they're numbered. Mine is number 146. And the vinyl on this looked pretty cool too. Oh, here's the sticker that comes on the outer sleeve, which I don't think they sent outer sleeves with the originally when I was on Vinyl Me Please before. And the vinyl is clear with purple and gold splatter. You can see that on the without too much glare. And a reproduction capital label from the time period, which this album came out in 1970. So I picked this one up too, and like I said, there's a couple other albums that kind of piqued my interest. So for now, while I'm a member, I'll probably take advantage. So yeah, I'm a member of Vinyl Me Please again. All right. Going back almost 2 weeks now from what I've been listening, because my my listening goes in spurts. You know, like last week I played almost nothing, and the week before that I was playing some Madonna. This is Like a Virgin. This was VCLT from Red over at Redco Music. Oh, sorry. Here's the back. And I never really paid much attention to Madonna, I have to say. But listening to this album, I mean, Material Girls on this one, of course, the title track was a hit. Dress You Up. This was a good album. I mean, it's just a dance pop album. So, like I said, I think I said this, but when I showed Madonna's first album. You're not really going too deep when you play Madonna albums, but it's good music. So, and this is probably one of her most famous albums. Certainly the one that made her a big star, Like a Virgin. Then, the other Madonna album that Red sent me, Confessions on a Dance Floor. This one came out about, what, 20 years after Like a Virgin? This one was, this is a double album, and this one is much more electronic sounding. This is real more dance synth music than even Like a Virgin was. And this one came out in 2005, I believe. And I actually liked this one almost a little bit more than Like a Virgin. Probably because it was newer. I didn't know a single song off of this album, so, and I listened to it through headphones too. So that kind of gave it a little bit of a different experience than listening to it through my normal speakers. But and Madonna's voice on this album compared to her earlier one is a lot deeper and throatier. So her early albums, she sounds kind of squeaky on a lot of the tracks. But I actually like her voice on this album more than on her earlier ones. So this is a good listen. Confessions on a Dance Floor. So thank you once again, Red. 4. Hit me up with the Madonna. Then I mentioned in my last video that I had pulled a Doors album, which I'm going to talk about next. And one of the other albums that I saw that happened to be right next to it was this one here, The Very Best of Fats Domino. This is a record that I had from my folks that was been in my collection, and I haven't played it in a couple of decades probably. So I pulled it out, I cleaned it. This is here's the back cover. This just shows all the songs on it. This album came out in 1975, and it's on the United Artists label, and it's in mono. So I think, I don't know if, because usually these UA labels were white. This one is tan. I'm not sure if that's because it's a mono pressing or not, but you know, Fats Domino, you know, one of the great early rock and rollers. You know, every song is, I don't think any song is longer than 2.5 minutes. So this was quite a fast listen. So I like Fats Domino. How can you not like Fats Domino, really? But yeah, this was one that I pulled and cleaned and played, you know, one day a couple of weeks ago. Then, of course, the aforementioned Morrison Hotel. This was from my original collection. This was the only Doors album that I had for a long time. And I bought it primarily because of Roadhouse Blues. I really like that song. But listening to the rest of the album, finds this, it's pretty worthy. And even though it didn't make the actual album that it was named after, Waiting for the Sun is on this album. I don't know why it didn't make it to the actual Waiting for the Sun album, but there you go. Peace Frog, that's a fun song. Land Ho, Queen of the Highway. This was more of a harder rock sound for the Doors compared to their earlier stuff, you know, which had more of like a psych sound to it. And this is an 80s pressing on Elektra. It's it doesn't have the big E on it like some of the others. It's got this 80s press here. And it was clean, you know, it just had you know, a few fingerprints on it and some dust, so I just was in the mood to listen to some Doors, so I just played it. And of course, thanks to Hannah, I've got Strange Days to listen to now, so that's going to get spun sooner than later. And then, a couple days after that, I just wanted to listen to something, you know, like Rush 2112 is like, it's like music comfort food for me. You know, arguably this is their best album. And I was just in the mood to play something that, you know, I knew. I just wanted to kind of chill out a little bit and rock out a little bit at the same time. So, I mean, I think pretty much everybody knows about this album. Do I really need to say too much about it? 2112. I actually found this at half price, and it was like a mint condition copy for a pretty good price. So I used to have this on cassette back in my high school days, along with Hemispheres, Moving Pictures, Signals. All those cassettes are gone, so it was nice to replace the cassette with a nice vinyl copy. So 2112 from Rush. It's one of the perfect albums, probably, in my view. And then over last weekend, I played this Jimi Hendrix album, Valleys of Neptune. This is a double album. This came out, I think, in 2010 or 2011. And primarily, try to zoom in here on the set list here. All of these songs were cut in 1969. That's kind of the theme of this album, to showcase Jimmy's artistic expansion and turmoil and everything he was going through in 1969. So all of these cuts are from that year. And I've got this is actually the first of like a trilogy of albums that came out over the last 7 or 8 years. People, Hell, and Angels, which I haven't played that yet. That's going to get spun soon. And then the third one was The Other Side of the Sky, which I actually played first, which came out last year or 2017. But man, what can you say about Jimi Hendrix? Even his outtakes or his alternate takes are miles ahead of anybody else. You know, basically his garbage is what other bands and guitarists would kill for. So yeah, and these are QRP pressed records, so the sound is just like he's in your living room playing for you. It's amazing. And then I showed this last video, but just for the sake of continuity, after Jimmy I played Portishead, Dummy. I talked about it in the last video. It's great, you know, great trip-hop classic album. And then another one that I showed in my last video that I played this morning, Heart Like a Wheel by Linda Ronstadt, the MoFi pressed edition. Contest winnings from Bobby Z. So, and again, I don't have, you know, a super high-end stereo system, but man, playing this loud, you know, so I could hear every detail, it's like she was here singing. Yeah, crystal clear, no background noise, no surface noise, just unbelievable stuff. And this was the first time I listened to this album. I mean, I've heard You're No Good before. That's one of my favorite songs of the 70s. When Will I Be Loved? I was familiar with that one. But everything else was new to me. And boy, what a great album. What a fantastic singer Linda Ronstadt is. So, once again, thank you, Bobby. This will be a treasured part of my collection. Heart Like a Wheel. And that's it. That's what I've got for this time. Thank you all for watching these and giving me the support to make more of them. I never honestly thought I would get this far in making videos like this, but it's still fun. I still like to do it, and hopefully you guys still like to watch. Which is the most important thing. So, thank you everyone. And like I said, I hope to make at least one more video for this week. So, until that time, take care, peace, and I will see you soon.